Lo que quiero es romper con las cosas que me hacen daño.
Un bikini para lucir tipito este verano cuando vayamos a la playa.
Tenía que haber zanjado esta historia mucho antes. Sana, lárgate ya porque me va a dar un infarto. ¿Y por qué hasta hoy no es el inmobiliario? Elige un barrio y se pone en contacto con los...
It is basically called Entrevías, also known as Wrong Side of the Tracks. It is a Spanish drama following Tiros Abantos, a tough old-school ex-soldier running a hardware store in a crime-ridden Madrid neighborhood, in this case Spain, when his rebellious adopted granddaughter Irene gets involved with a local dealer. Tiros takes matters into his own hands to protect her, and this mean by any cost. So this is the whole plot of the series, and we will be speaking a little bit more of the relationship that in this case developed between the two ladies. But before we get into further details, please don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and let's go. Let's start breaking down the story between the two. So let's get it right going. They meet in season 2 at a police station. Amanda is a new chief inspector, and Jimena arrives after a minor car accident, so they can basically try and solve the situation in the case. Despite Jimena's marriage to a man and her adopted daughter, the connection with Amanda is immediate. This initiates a process of self-acceptance for Jimena, who had, repressed her orientation for fear of her family, environment, and not only that, also because, of her father. Because later on, you can see her father's reaction when she actually ends up finding out. But there was also a whole nother scene that I would highly recommend watching. It was very funny to me. The relationship progresses, facing challenges such as initial secrecy from Jimena's family and the protective nature of her father. At the end of season 3, her committed is prepared a wedding and actually got married. So how do they get to this point? So in season 2, they start hooking up, in a secret. They have decided to keep their relationship a secret because of Jimena. She didn't want her father to find out. She wanted, to keep everything away from her daughter, even though her daughter accepted it very well with open arms. Her mom's, because at the end of the day, she just wants her mom to be happy. On the other hand, we have Amanda. Amanda was very accepted towards Jimena's situation. She never forced her to do anything. She would take your time whenever you're ready. We're gonna take a further step. Moving forward to season 3, you can see the season start very, very, very tough because in this case, Amanda actually ends up going to prison for eliminating somebody. And obviously, at the beginning of season 3, you can just see how Jimena was there to support her. At the beginning, you can actually see that Amanda was very against Jimena showing up and being there for her. She wanted, Jimena to leave her alone and just move forward, with her life because she didn't know if she would be incarcerated for the rest of her life. Would she be actually be convicted, for the crime? So there was just a lot, and she didn't want Jimena, to basically waste her time because also, Amanda, she was struggling financially in order to pay the legal fees. So, Jimena stepped in and actually ends up helping her with the legal fees. And obviously, Amanda felt guilty for Jimena having to sell her house to help her out. But later on, she said, no, I didn't sell my house just because of that. There was other reasons as well. So they actually could figure that out. And later on, obviously, you can see them also going through the trial process, where Amanda almost got convicted, but later on she got discharged and all the charges against her got dropped. And you can just see how Jimena was there for her through it all, through thick and thin, standing by her side, supporting her, and basically just telling, I don't care how much you are trying to push me away, I'm not leaving you, I'm here for you. And that's exactly what happened. So later on, Amanda, she got, her freedom finally back. So during that moment of her freedom, you can see that they have decided to get married in a very unexpected way. They definitely didn't plan to get married, but there was an opportunity on the table for them to get married and just take, advantage of the opportunity. So they went on, they planned everything very, very last minute. And yes, they actually end up getting married at the end of season 3. But the marriage didn't go as planned, even though they did get married. On the other hand, it was also a very tragic night for everybody who was at their marriage because, just before, they got married, you can see that in this case, Amanda, she got involved in a criminal situation that she had to handle, because of her duties as a police officer. And during that situation, a whole lot of incidents happened, and that led, to their, wedding end up being a very tragic event, despite them already getting married. During the event, during the ceremony, you can actually see that very, very unfortunately, while they were celebrating, everybody was just happy, united. You can see that unfortunately, Jimena's daughter, she was trying to defend her grandfather, actually ends up getting eliminated. Yes, so she actually ends up getting eliminated, the daughter of Jimena. And you can see how heartbroken Jimena was in season 4. So moving forward to season 4, it's more about grieving. It's more about, Jimena seeking answer, and Amanda just trying her best to be there for her wife, and try to seek also her answers as a police officer, to be there for her as a partner, and to make her understand, hey, we're gonna figure this out together. But you can just see it's really, really hard on Jimena in season 4. It's very hard for her to cope with everything. She just got married to the woman that she loved, and the same day she got, married to the woman she loved, she lost her daughter, and now she has a grandchild that she has to look after because her daughter actually left the child, and now she's also still grieving. She's still looking for answers. But Amanda stood there for her through thick and thin, just letting her know, like, you are not alone in this. So in season 4, their marriage definitely get challenged a lot. So basically, to sum everything up real quick, season 2, they meet, they fall in love, they decide to keep their relationship a secret. Moving forward to season 3, they explore their relationship a little bit more. They end up getting married, and also in this case, Amanda ends up, going to prison and then later on getting released. And then, at the end of season 3, Jimena loses her daughter, and season 4 is all about grieving and processing and trying to make sense of a new reality that you definitely didn't expect that you would be living, so soon, and also try to keep your marriage together, knowing that it's very difficult. Moral of the story, how would I personally rate their relationship? I would definitely say it's an amazing relationship. I like how, first and foremost, they get a lot of camera time. That's something that I really did adore a lot. It's not like those typical lesbian couples that maybe just get 1 minute or 2 minutes. They actually do get a good amount of camera time since season 2 until season 4. Season 4, a little bit more, especially season 3, they do get a lot of camera time. So that's definitely something I have to spot out. There are a couple that goes through a lot of trials and tribulations, but no matter what, they try to always find their way back to each other and just being there for one another no matter what. And yes, this one is actually a very, very popular, in this case, series, in Spain. It's very well recognized. The actresses are actually very famous. So if you guys haven't watched Entrevia, once again, if you guys don't know the translation for English, it will be The Wrong Side of the Track. You guys can go ahead, go watch it on Netflix. It has 4 seasons available. I will highly recommend watching their relationship from season 2. Because, yeah, season 2, season 2 to season 4, there you will find their full storyline, and it's 100% worth to watch. My personal rating for this one will definitely be a 8 out of a 10, or maybe a 8.5 out of a 10. I just feel like everything between them was very, very well combined together, and it's just a series that you must go ahead, go watch, go support. So yes, that is basically it. This is my quick review. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. Until the next video, and goodbye.